Hi, I'm Jen and welcome back to Jen's Jungle, where today we are out and about with Ebby. We have come to one of our local parks. It is one of our favourite places. We're just going to come for a bit of a walk and explore. We come here quite regularly, at least once a week. I said the great thing, it's very local, so it's a great place just for Ebby to get some confidence as an adventure cat. We can also just sit down for a bit. He can have a little time exploring without having to walk along on the lead. So you've been coming to this park for about a month. This is really since Ebby became an adventure cat. This is actually where we first took him on his own without the dogs. And this is our sort of go-to place when we just want to get out, but we don't have that long. Ebby is currently in the backpack. He is raring to go. So we have been here quite a bit recently, and this is just a little compilation of his photos of Ebby out and about in the park. So this was our first trip to the park, and it was actually Ebby's first trip out on his own without the dogs. He was a little bit nervous at first, but he became braver and got out his backpack and started to explore a little bit, while still staying close. He's still learning to be an adventure cat and still has some skills to learn, such as climbing up on a bench. But he always tries, and he's always willing to try again. He then became a bit more confident at exploring. He particularly enjoyed looking out over the little lake. We then went for a little walk just to practice him walking on a lead. For our next trip, the weather was nicer, and Ebby enjoyed watching the birds before starting to explore. He was a bit quicker getting out of his bag this time, and seemed a bit more confident exploring. He stayed quite close at first, and I think he wanted some of my coffee. But he quickly moved on and started looking around much more. He did also start exploring a bit further afield as his confidence grew. Whilst he explored, I enjoyed reading my book, until he decided that he wanted to come and join me and have a little fuss. We then went for a little walk, and Ebby particularly enjoyed exploring the plants in the little gardens. He did try nibbling a few. Another sunny day, and we decided to head out again. And straight away Ebby was more confident, getting out his bag straight away and exploring the bench. He was a lot quicker to get off the bench and start exploring the little area around. He seems to really love sniffing at all the different plants. We are careful about what he nibbles. He then became really fascinated with this bird feeder, and I think he was thinking about whether he could jump up it or not. He does consider it for a little while, and I think he was quite tempted. However, in the end, he decides against climbing up, and instead just decides to climb up on the bench again, but at least he didn't fall off the bench this time. We then went for another little walk, Ebby's becoming so much more confident and walking on the lead. He still stops and sniffs, but is getting the idea of walking along as well. He is doing so well as an adventure cat. However, he is still young, and when we went to leave the small gardens we were in to go into the main park, he became a little timid. He seemed to know the difference between the gardens and the park, and was very nervous about leaving them. Unfortunately, as he was going to leave, a cyclist came past, and I think this really freaked him out a little bit. So instead of pushing it, we gave him another few minutes in the gardens before popping him back in the backpack and walking home with him. He enjoyed his little ride in the bag. This is the little area we've been going to frequently. As you can see, it's small and quiet, and lots of different things for Ebby to enjoy exploring. This was our third visit, and Ebby really seemed to enjoy it and seems to know his way around now. Straight away, he's out and about, looking at the plants, sniffing around, and really enjoying himself. Once again, he was fascinated by this bird feeder, and I'm sure one day he's going to try to climb up it, but I don't think he's quite there yet. There were no birds on it at this time, as it's very important not to let your adventure cat disturb wildlife. Instead, he headed back to the bench again and enjoyed jumping up on this. His jumping is so much better than the first time he fell off a bench. This time he decided to go one step further and actually jumped up on the top of the bench. I thought this was quite skillful for a little kitten. He did so well balancing across the top of the bench. He then went back to exploring the plants, and he wanted to get right in these ones. He still enjoys having a little nibble at the occasional plant, but we are careful about what he nibbles on. We had another little look at the area we love so much before heading out into the main park. Again, Ebby seemed a little nervous and instead took a different route out by jumping up on the fence. However, he did come out of the little gardens and did really well walking along in the main area of the park. He's becoming so much more adventurous. As soon as he saw this tree, he was right out climbing. However, he only goes so far before deciding to stop, and eventually comes back down. He does well coming down without falling. And has a little fuss as a reward. This is another little area of the park we went to. I think Ebby likes enjoying a new area. There's lots of new things to sniff at. He particularly enjoyed exploring this fallen tree. He has done so well and has come so far since his first trips to the park. But he still gets a bit of a reassurance fuss every now and again. There was just time for a bit more tree climbing before heading home. I think he was deciding which trunk to go up. He decided to go up, and this time wanted to go a bit too far for my liking, so I had to stop him going further and try and encourage him back down. I didn't want him to go too far out of my reach, just for his own safety. I did manage to get him to come back down. However, I think he was a bit upset about not being allowed to climb fully. And as a result, when he did come down, I think he decided to have a little sulk in his bag. So we decided to walk home, and Ebby enjoyed having a free ride whilst looking out. He loves having time in his backpack as it gives time to rest his paws, but he still gets to explore the world. Please like, follow and subscribe for more Ebby adventures.